bimbidi bimbidi bum. Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat 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 Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, 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 Shalom.
Good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom, and Chodesh Tov, a new month, Rosh Chodesh, to have an incredible new month. My name is Rabbi Jesse Mordechai Charon, and I am privileged to be the spiritual leader of this incredible Temple Beth David. We are a vibrant and Hamish URJ congregation in Metro Atlanta. Bruchim, haba'im. It is Friday night, July 9th, 2021, Rosh Chodesh Av. Traditionally, when we move into the month of Av, we actually get a little sad because we're preparing for Tisha B'Av, but also we have Tu B'Av, this time of love and happiness. The year is 5,781, and we are coming to you live from our Sunrise Sanctuary. We are honored to have our talented Kaballat Shabbat musicians, our Chazan and musical director, Barry Nicholsberg, our Vice President, Bobby Horowitz, Andrew on djembe, Heather and Jim Murray, Frank Monteleone, we miss you. Again, if you're here in our kahal, our crowd, you're going to say, this is incredible. We have all of you and also the 185 plus subscribers on YouTube. We want to wish everyone a good Shabbos. A special thank you to Judy Kern, our president, and Denise Whitlock, our streaming specialist. Judy and Denise manage the live chat to allow for your participation in our services. If you would like to follow along, please, there is a link to our Siddur. We use the Mishkan Tefillah, so for those in our audience, please, they're accessible and available to you. We are going to begin on page 120, where we bring in the Sabbath. We say in Yiddish, to benchlicht, hadlakat nerot, and now we invite Jeannie and Wendy up to assist us bringing in the Sabbath, lahadlik ner shel Shabbat, to light the Sabbath candles. Please turn with us to page 120.
By our lives give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kishanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Blessed are you, Adonai our God, sovereign of the universe, who hallows us with mitzvot and commands us to kindle the lights of Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbos. Shabbos. And now, as we get ready to bring bring in the Sabbath. The candles are lit. We turn to page 138, and this beautiful piyut, this song, Lecha Dodi, is incredible because it's also an acrostic. So when you think about Lecha Dodi, we do a few verses here, but if you look at the first letter of each word, you're going to see the author. So again, that's a pop quiz question. If you want to come up after services and say, Rabbi, I looked at the first letter of each word and I put them together and now I know the author of Lecha Dodi. As our Kaballat Shabbat musicians lead us, page 138.
What's wonderful about this evening, this is the first time that congregants have been here without masks in a year and a half. It is absolutely amazing. I forgot what you folks look like. Some people I don't believe I've ever seen before. That's how different they are. With that, Bobby.
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala, B'nei
Shabbat
Shabbat
Kabbalah.
Lecha
Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala.
B'nei
Shabbat
Shabbat
Kabbalah. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala. B'nei Shabbat Kabbalah. Lecha Dodi, Likrat Kala. B'nei Shabbat Kabbalah.
Amor bezachor v'dibor echad, Hishmi'anu el ha'michad, Adonai echad u'shemo echad, L'shem u'tiferet, la 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah. Hitoreri, Kiva orech kumi uri shir daveri. Kibon alayich, la 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah. Lecha dodi, likrat kala. Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah. This is the last verse. If you would stand, please face the door we came in. Bo iver shalom ateret bana, gam besimchat sola, tochem oneam segula. Bohi chala, la 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 dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah, la 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 lecha dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah. Lecha dodi, likrat kala, Pnei Shabbat Kabbalah.
Please be seated. You know, when we think about Kaballat Shabbat, to bring in the Sabbath, you know, to daven with someone, it's a real intimate experience. To pray with someone. And at this time, please, we can wish each other a Shabbat Shalom, a Sabbath of peace. When you think about Shalom, the word itself, the shorish, the root is Shin Lamed Mem, which means wholeness, that we want to make sure that all of us are whole and that we're filled with the Sabbath spirit. Shabbat Shalom to everyone. And now we're going to transition from our Kaballat Shabbat service into the Ma'ariv, into our evening service. It can be found on page 144 with the Chatzi Kaddish.
Yikadal v'ikadash shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
V'amad yivarach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei v'chayechon yom v'yomecha u'chayei lechol beit Yisrael ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imiru amen. Yehi shmei Rabbah mevorach V'yalamu me'omaya Yitbarach
Yitbarach v'yishtavach v'yitbar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yitalal shemed kudusha v'richu leila min kol berchata v'shirata tu shvechata v'nechemata damiran v'yalma v'miru amen.
And now we rise in body and or spirit on page 146, our call to worship, that God is everywhere, wherever we open the door and allow God's presence in. Page 146, the Baruch Hu.
Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamivorach Baruch Adonai Hamivorach Hamivorach Le'olam va'ed Hamivorach Hamivorach Le'olam va'ed.
We remain standing on page 152 as we prepare for the Shema in the Baruch Shem. You know, I'm blessed with 3 daughters, and I teach them every single night the Shema. The Shema is the first thing that we say on our lips and the last thing that leaves our lips, the Shema. Let us sing together, 152.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. 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 Shem Kivo Malchuto Le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem Kivo Malchuto Le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Please be seated. On page 154, our Chazan is going to lead us in the chanting of V'ahavta, and you shall love. The Shema teaches us to have faith. But in Judaism, it's not about faith. It's about action. Love is an action. How do we express that love? Our Chazan now is going to teach us V'ahavta.
This is the same exact way it has been sung for more than 3,000 years. This is straight from the Torah, including the incantations. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadavarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinatam levanecha v'dibata bam b'shiftecha b'veitecha u'v'leftecha b'derech
ובשופטך ובקומך, וקשתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטפחות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאיכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
You know, your rabbi, I not only do I do house calls if you're a Yiddish phrase, a bissel krank, if you're a little sick, I bring chicken soup, but not only that, just as our chazan beautifully chanted, if you need a mezuzah, we have so many new faces. So if you need a mezuzah, I also do mezuzah calls. So if you're new to the area and you have a new home and you want to put a mezuzah, just as our chazan mentioned, that on the doors of your home, upon your gates, if you need a mezuzah, see your local rabbi. I'm accessible, available, and we'll put up the mezuzah. Our service continues on page 158 with Mi Chamocha.
Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder kodesh. Nora tehilot osei fele, Nora tehilot osei fele. Malechutecha hara'u vanecha, Bukei hayam lifnei Moshe uMiriam, Ze'elianu v'yamru, Ze'elianu v'yamru, Adonai yimloch Le'olam va'ed, Adonai yimloch Le'olam va'ed. Mi chamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh, Nora tehilot osei fele, Nora tehilot osei fele.
As we continue with Hashkivenu, here in our community, I think we're more than trilingual. We're going to be doing this in American Sign Language. Is that correct? American Sign Language?
Yes,
also
sir.
In English, we have some Hebrew. But also we have another language. It's called Avodat Halev. The rabbis understand our service. We actually call our service Avoda, which means to work. But it's the work of the heart. So think about Hashkivenu. We're constantly praying for peace. Page 160.
Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, l'shalom. V'hanivenu malkeinu l'chaim. Ufrosolenu sukat shlomecha, Ufrosolenu sukat shlomecha. Amen.
Let's do it in English and American Sign Language. Shelter us
beneath thy wings, O Adonai, guard us from
all harmful things.
O Adonai,
Keep us safe throughout the night until we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. Amen. Amen.
As we prepare for Vishamru on page 162, we have this Yerusha, this inheritance that we were given. I was blessed to live in Israel for a number of years. In Israel, Sunday is a regular day like any other day of the week. Sunday in Israel is Yom Rishon, the first day of the week. And my time when I was a soldier in the Israeli army, I was so excited. Because I would say, I'd take off my vest and remove my equipment and say, thank God for Shabbat, a time to rest and reflect. What would we do without the Sabbath? This is a time now to connect to our folk, our faith with Hashem. Let us sing together, Vishamru, page 162.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat לעשות את השבת לדור המרית עולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורם ברית עולם. בני ראובן, בני ישראל אותי לעולם. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. וביום השביעי שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש, שבת וינפש. ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
And now we turn to page 164 when we prepare for the tefillah. Please rise in body and or spirit. Just to share briefly with you, when you go into a bookstore in the section of spirituality, you're going to see hundreds of books. But here this tefillah has 19 sections. 19, so it's individually, it's like 19 different books all about spirituality. Ask your rabbi after the service if you have questions. Page 164, tefillah.
Anananananana Adonai, Anananananana Savtai Tiftach, Anananananana Hufi Yagid, Hufi Yagid Tahilatecha, Anananananana Adonai, Anananananana Savtai Tiftach, Ananananana Hufi Yagid Tahilatecha, Anananananana Adonai, Anananananana Savtai Tiftach, Ananananana Hufi Yagid Tahilatecha. Page 166. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomer Chasadim Tovim, v'Konei Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, Umegula livnei b'neihem, L'ma'an Shemo b'Yahava, Melech Ozer u'Mashiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, v'Yetzrat Sarah. 168. Ata gibor leolam Adonai, Mechaye hakal ata rab leoshia, morid hatal, Mechakel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim berofei cholim, Umatir asorim, Kayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha bal gevurot umido melach melech memid umechaye umatzmiya mitshua v'ne'emanat halechayot ha'akol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye Ata kadosh v'shimcha kadosh ukadoshim b'chol yom yahalalucha selah baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. And now again I invite Jeannie and Wendy up to read on page 161. Give us a place to rest. So again, give us a place to rest when we think about Shabbat, a time to rest and to reflect and to be surrounded by loved ones. We use the language, a sukkah, the holiday of Sukkot, to be surrounded by a sukkah of peace, Sukkat Shalom, page 161.
Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter.
Excuse me, you cannot be heard. If you could get real close to the mic, please. Everyone can enjoy what you're saying.
Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter, into the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and your presence are acceptance and gentle love.
Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace, over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
And let us
Sukkat
Shalom. And let us all say together, Amen. And now we have again a moment of silence, of self-reflection, meditation. At this time, it's the bakashah, the request to have that personal relationship with God. Life is filled with unknowns, but our ancient Jewish tradition always teaches us, no matter what happens, we continue to pray. Va'ani tefilati.
Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai ratzon. Va'ani tefilati lecha Adonai ratzon.
Elohim berokatcha
Ani b'medrisheka kastecha. Anei bemet yishecha. Va'ani tefilati l'cha Adonai el ratzon. Va'ani tefilati l'cha Adonai el ratzon. Elohim berochastecha. Anei bemet yishecha. Elohim berochastecha. Anei bemet yishecha.
We continue with Ritzeh. You know, the Hebrew language, you know, even if you understand or if you don't understand, the rabbis teach us that the Hebrew language is Lashon Kodesh. The word Lashon actually is our body part, our tongue. And Kadosh is the holy language, the holy tongue. And so when you hear as we transition from Va'ani Tefilati into Ritzeh, think about how holy the words are. That everyone around the world, our Jewish brothers and sisters, our family members, are singing together, celebrating Shabbat, Ritzeh.
We are 2 months, less than 2 months away from the High Holy Days now. And this song is such a great part of the High Holy Days. I'd like to start singing it now, and I've asked everyone else to join me as they can, please, including you. Ritzeh Adonai Eloheinu B'yamcha Yisrael U'tfilatam B'yahava Tekabel Ratzon Tamid Avodat Israel Israel Amecha El Karov Lechol Ki Barecha b'chaneinu shefach ruchacha aleinu v'techezena eneinu b'shuvecha leTzion Pogrom שכינתו
This beautiful song, would say, our incredibly talented Kaballat Shabbat musicians. One of the verses we just heard is, Shvoch ruchacha aleinu. And I just want to share that in English. It's such a beautiful phrase, to pour out your spirit upon us. Think about that. That when we're faced with the trials and tribulations of life, all of the stressors, and now we're transitioning into our service for healing, the Misha Berach, where we have so many of our loved ones, our family members, that are in need of refuah shlema, of a full recovery, refuah tanefesh, refuah taguf, a healing of the mind, a healing of the body, of the healing of the soul, that we ask God, Shvoch ruchacha aleinu, God, pour your soul out onto us, onto them, onto all those that are in need of prayer. At this time, our president will share with us names of individuals that are in need of blessings as we say their names and lift them up in prayer.
Irene Namer, Sam Namer, Haley Silverman, Evan Manishin, Sam Steiner, Andrew St. Clair, Don Sinclair, Arlene Conley, Margareta McCarthy, Patty Beeman, Michael Stein, Tanya Hurst, Sandy Tejan, Lisa Miller, Rebecca Hilgendorf, Emily Holler, Ronna Wise, Ashley Bethel, Rebecca Bow, Don Copsey, Jesse Morton, Mike Roth, Dennis Sadler, Mia Harris, all those affected by COVID-19, Linda Ehrensaft, Don Ehrensaft, Marcy Schulman, Joe Wagner, Sherry Silver, Steve Ely.
Rabbi Robert Kersner, Ted Haddock, Linda Nelson, Margaret Pennington, Esther Borg, Joanne Stein, Julia Hampton, Kevin Middleton, Brenda Gibson, Mickey D'Amato, Peter Yarrow, Anya Polara, Ben DeSalvo, Marilyn Thorpe, Megumi Allen, Marie Plakos, and all of the families that have suffered throughout this pandemic, and certainly all the families and loved ones who have suffered endlessly for the past 2 weeks down in Florida.
Steve Ely, Susie Horowitz, Ann Olin, Edwin Speck, Keith Hood.
Corporal. We turn to page 371 for the Misha Berach.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor Havrecha Leimotenu.
May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mikor Habracha Le'avo Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Amen. May everyone be blessed with a refuah shlema. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos. You know, this week's Torah portion is a double Torah portion, Matot Masai, and also Rosh Chodesh Av. We're transitioning into the 3 weeks as, you know, as we move into Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av. But when we think about the Torah, especially in this week's Sedra, you know, all of the answers, the rabbis, you know, the rabbis of old, actually, they used to always write. Even today, we're always writing. And the Yiddish term is kvitlach, you know, which means that you'd go to the bookshelf and you'd grab a book, you'd open up and say, ha, I had questions, and now I opened up. It doesn't even matter what, you're not even looking for the page. You know, can you imagine? You open it up and you find the answers. So the rabbis say, so too in the week Sedra and the weekly Torah portion, you're going to find all of the answers. So I hope this Devar Torah gives you all of the answers of life. Because in this week, we're in the wilderness. Every week we're in the wilderness. Every week we're in the wilderness. Because what is the wilderness? The wilderness is the Midbar. Say, Rabbi, I know modern Hebrew. Midbar is not the wilderness, it's the desert. All right, so the rabbinic sages understand the desert, this desolate place, the wilderness, to be a place of void, a place that is unknown, a place of struggle, a place of pain. Now, why do we need to know this? Because the Torah is not about the destination. The Torah is not about the destination. The Torah is about the journey in the wilderness. That's what it's about. That when you're in a place of pain, when you're suffering, when you have tsuris, when you're looking for how to relate to a friend, how to, continue a friendship, to make a new friend. Because we're going to learn tonight in this Devar Torah, what does it mean to show up? Here, what does it mean to travel? To travel with someone. What does that mean? Because again, it's not about the destination. Here, for 40 years we were in the desert. So say we were in the desert for 40 years. Why? Because the chait of the miraglim. Because the sins of the spies. Right? They went into the land of Israel and said, we can't go into the land of Israel. They're giants. They'll swallow us up. What's going to happen? Here, but two people, Caleb and Yoshua, Caleb and Joshua, continued. They made it into the land. And that's where the book ends. That's where the book should start. The book should start with Caleb and Joshua in the land. But that's the end of the Torah. So it's about the journey. Now in the Talmud, again in the Babylonian Talmud, we have a phrase, Kol Yisrael Arevim Ze Bazeh, that we, Israel, are responsible for each other, and we share a common past, and our destiny is intertwined together. That our future is dependent on each and every one of us. So what does this mean? And where do we see it in this week's Torah portion? That I should care about my fellow person? Absolutely. Absolutely we should care. Here as a Jewish community, what does that mean to be part of a Jewish community? So here in Numbers in chapter 32, we're going to learn the two tribes, Reuben and Gad. Reuben, not God, Gad, G-A-D, Gad. Reuben and Gad, all of a sudden, they're on the other side of the Jordan. Now here, they're working, what do they do for, they're shepherds. They're dealing with the flocks. Husbandry with the animals. And what do they need with the animals? They're looking for the best land. I don't know if we have farmers in here. Do we have anyone who has a farm? Shabbos morning we have some farmers. They're looking for the best land. It's on the other side of the Jordan. They're not wanting to continue with the rest of the tribes. They say to Moses, Moses, we're going to stay here. We're going to stay here. I'm not worried about the other tribes. Because what we found a good place. It's sunny, it's nice, it's got incredible grass. We're happy. Here, they're involved with their ranchers. They found the best land for the livestock. And where's the land? On the other side. So they go to Moses and say, Moses, don't worry about us. You'll continue. You'll go. And Moses says, what are you talking about? We're on a conquest to the land. Here, I'm the commander-in-chief, and this is my last battle. Moses is we, as the Israelites, we're going to engage in war with the Midianites. This is the last battle of Moses. Moses says, but half my troops are going to leave. Kol Yisrael Arevim Zebazeh, we're responsible for each other. Moses says, shall your brothers go out to do battle while you settle here? Here, that we're involved in a battle of survival. And that is the message, that we have to stick together. Moses went to Reuben and Gad and says, you know what? If you want this piece of land, that's okay. But what is your obligation and what is your responsibility to Klal Yisrael, to all the Israelites? You must come with us. You must come with us to fight. We need you. We can't do it alone. And they said, Moses, you are our leader. We will fight with you against the Midianites, and then we'll return. And that is the message this week. That we can't do it alone. That we might live in here it's a big county. We might live all over the place. But we come together to support our incredible, Hamish, and growing spiritual home, Temple Beth David. I want to wish everyone a good Shabbos, to internalize this message. Blessings, and it's incredible to see all of the new faces. Our service continues on page 586 with Aleinu. When I open this parochet, this cover, you'll see our beautiful Sifrei Torahs. I invite everyone to rise in body and or spirit for the second paragraph of Aleinu, again on page 586. Please rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tet gedola leotze breshi, shelo asanu kegoye haratzo, bilo samanu kemishvechot adama, shelo sam chelekenu kahem, vigor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim umishtachavim umodim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh borech hu. Shehu note shamayim ose haaretz umoshav yakarov bashamayim ima'al ushina uzo dikohe meromim hu Eloheinu eino emet malkeinu efet zulato kakatu B'torato, v'yadata yom v'hashivota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim imahal, v'yal haaretz mitachat Page 588. For you spread out the heavens and established the earth.
Your majestic abode is in the heavens above, and your mighty presence is in the loftiest heights. You are our God, and there is none else. In truth, you are our sovereign without compare, as is written in your Torah. Know then this day and take it to heart, that Adonai is surely God in the heavens above, and on the earth below. There is none else. V'nemar v'haya Adonai l'melech al kol haaretz bayom ha'or yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
Please be seated. When the pandemic started, our response here at Temple Beth David was for our chazan to recite El Malei Rachamim. Constantly, there are tragedies that are always happening in Surfside, around the world. And the Jewish response to death is to remember, always to remember. And this ancient prayer, El Malei Rachamim, is for those that are no longer physically with us to have an Ilui Neshama, for the souls to continue to rise and be bound with the glory of God. El Malei Rachamim.
El Malei Rachamim Shochein Baromim Hamsei Menucha Nichona Tacha Kanfei HaShekhinah Im Kedoshim Otihorim Kezohar Harakia Masirim Lanishmot Yakireinu Sha'achol Le'ole'amam Bal Harachamim Yasti Reim Besefter Kinafav Liolamim V'yitzror Bitzror HaChayim et Nishmatam Adonai Hu Nachalatam V'yanu B'Shalom HaMishkavam V'nomar Amen.
Rest in peace. Let us all recite. Amen. We always remember. In the Jewish and the Hebrew language, there's no word really for history. History is memory. We think of our loved ones whom death has recently taken from us, those who died at this season in years past, and those whom we have drawn into our hearts. If you are in Shiva, in Shloshim, if you're commemorating a Yortzeit, please share with us the name. Here in our Kihila Kadosha, in our holy congregation, we remember David Yarbrough, Larry Kramer, Daniel Joseph Middleton, Irma Schiller, Marcia Manishin, Amelia Gress, Daniel Jacob Horowitz, Joel Kellner, Richard Eggers, Zelda Abbas, Ned Isaacs, Vicki Morton, Bob Molnar, Dr. Jim Bartling, Maurice Goldstein, Joanne Sexton, Patrick Myers, George Kirchhoff. We commemorate the Yortzites, George Michelson, Marissa Nicholsberg, Patricia Tennant. We rise with all of the mourners. We say, Zichronam Livracha, may their memories forever be a blessing. We turn to page 598 as we recite together the Mourner's Kaddish, the Kaddish Yatom. Yitgadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach Yerutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei dechol Beit Yisrael, ba'gala uv'izman kari v'imru Amen. Yeh Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ulalmei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudsha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yeh shlama Rabbah min shemaya. V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Please be seated. In Judaism, we are eternally optimistic. We consistently, constantly, and always here, even on our parochet, Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. We pray for peace. Oseh shalom.
Please join us. We're going to sing this 6 times. It gets faster with each time. It's a quick song.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen.
5th time.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen.
Last time.
Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru Amen.
Shabbat Shalom, a good Shabbos. And now our president is going to share with us some important announcements.
Earlier this morning, members got an email with a link to your intent to attend services for the high holidays, whether you're going to plan to be on site or online. Please respond so we get an idea of how many people are going to be here and how many are going to be out on the internet. Wednesday, Rabbi Jesse is holding Lunch and Learn and a Tu B'Av art project, thanks to Jeannie. Please RSVP on the website. Yesterday we sent out an email. We've raised the attendance limits for services, so please come join us. We're still asking that you put in an RSVP just in case somebody comes down with COVID and we need to do contact tracing. We need to know who's in the building at any one time, please. I want to thank Sandy Iwanowski for the new Bema podium covers. I don't know if you noticed it, but those are absolutely gorgeous. And this is a personal plea. There is a nationwide blood shortage. There's like maybe 2 days worth of blood on the shelves. If you are physically qualified and able, please contact the Red Cross or Life South Community Blood Center and give blood. It's a life-saving proposition. And I want to thank Officer Myers for watching over us tonight.
And we have a message about baseball. So please go to our website. Again, Temple Beth David is going to have an incredible at what do they call the Gwinnett Stripers. Everything's on the website. Listen, we do all kinds of events and activities. Please look at our website, tbdga.org. First and foremost, Toda Rabbah, thank you so much to our talented Kaballat Shabbat musicians, also to our Kahal, also to our family members, not only the audience, also the Mishpacha, our family. Thank you for being present and davening and praying with us. And now some announcements from our Chazan.
I just want to say thank you. When I asked you a few minutes ago to join us in singing Osa Shalom, I actually didn't think you would do it. But you did. It was so exciting because you may have been doing it all along, but you had masks on and I couldn't tell. That just gladdened my heart. You know, I'm a bit tired. I woke up in Seattle this morning and here I am. But it's just so invigorating to see that response. I do want to let you know, Jeannie and I will not be here next Friday. We will be in Alabama preparing for a memorial service for her father. And I'll see you in 2 weeks. In the meantime, next Friday night, everyone else will be here. And so there will still be wonderful, wonderful music. And I'll probably be watching online.
And now our Kaballat Shabbat musicians are going to bless all of us with the priestly benediction. Please rise in body and or spirit.
Yivarechecha Adonai Yishmerecha.
May God bless us, protect us, and guard over us.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'chunecha.
May Adonai shine countenance upon us.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom.
May Adonai lift us up, open our eyes, and bless us, and bestow upon us peace.
V'yasem lecha shalom.
Shalom, good Shabbos, Shabbat Shalom.